Hey, welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today, you're going to see something completely different than I've ever posted on my channel. You do not see baseball cards or packs of cards in front of you. What you see is versions of the PS3 NCAA football game going all the way back. 2010, 2011 with Tebow, 12 is underneath here with Mark Ingram, 13 here with Barry Sanders and RG3, and then the GOAT, the greatest of all time, NCAA 14, which by itself maybe wasn't the best game standing alone compared to all of the others. I even had other games going all the way back to PS2 and PS1, the Charles Woodson one. So I played this game for so long. And then 2014 was the last one we got, obviously with the lawsuits for NIL and using players' names and likenesses without their permission, and just the iconic game that this has become. I mean, the physical copy of this game was going for over $100 just the last couple years. I still have the original stuff in here, the original instruction manual, how to get started. I've got the receipt. You can see that kind of shining through the back there of when I purchased this thing originally. I'd always kind of tuck it back in the back in case something happened. Let's see if I can get this to focus here. Yeah, 2013, August 31st, when I purchased it. So I'm going to try to fire this up. If you can hear the music in the background, I've actually got it to fire up. I had to download an update to PlayStation 3 to get it to work. Let's do a little reminiscing and see what you can even still do on this game, and see if I can look back and turn back the clock a little bit as we get ready for 25. All right, so here you have it, folks. We are loading NCAA 14. I actually had to download a PlayStation 3 update. I'm not even using, obviously, like a streaming or a, this is just cell phone, iPhone off of a TV, an old TV. Here's my old NCAA 14 information. Can't believe it's still on here. Just absolutely classic Dynasty stuff. Ultimate Team. This was really my first. Look how much I played that. Holy cow. I mean, I was all right. I was pretty good. I'm not the best by any means, but over 1,200 wins and less than 150 losses. It got to a point where, like, look at how many coins you still had, over 1.5 million. I had filled up my roster where I don't even know if you can still play games on here. But it got down to there for a while. It was really weird if any of y'all played NCAA 14, where they started to release collections, and there were kind of some rumors going around of like a massive 99 overall collection, and they started to do position by position where you had to have all of the quarterbacks. And if you collected every single quarterback, you would get the 99 overall, whoever it was. I wonder if I can even, oh, I've got season history here. 1,267 wins, 139 losses. That is, oh my goodness. And so, like, yeah, you had to play these seasons, and if you won so many, I think you had to win, was it 8 out of 15 or 12 out of 15? I don't know, just look at some of these guys. These classic names. ATC Bob, 86. He was really good. I remember playing him a ton, and we'd go back and forth. He beat me 17-0 that game. Holy cow. 114 total seasons played, 75 championships, 99 postseason appearances, promoted all the way up to the top level. That's absolutely nuts. But yeah, there were so many guys like ATC Bob, 86. After a while, you kind of knew who the really good players were. And the thing about this was it would load in the pregame. You would be able to see who your opponent was. And after a while, you just kind of learned the screen names that were very, very good. And sometimes you would be able to play him, and sometimes you're like, man, I don't want to take that guy on in this spot just because I was, in a spot where I had to win and you didn't want to risk it. And so you'd have to hopefully go up against somebody who wasn't as good. But if you look at these absolute, just legendary collections, man. Yeah, they started out with these, and you had to get like all 75 for 75 or 70 out of the 70 quarterbacks. Excuse me, I had that backwards. And if you remember, if you were playing back then, at a certain point, every Friday or whatever day it was that they dropped a new collection, they got to like after a couple, and then they just dropped everything, and they did all of them, like all the rest that they had. And I think they kind of knew things were falling apart with their agreement or with the lawsuit, and so they just dumped everything all at once. And so it was quite the process of buying and selling, trying to pick up all of these cards. And oh my goodness, it's just taking you back. I had like a sheet that I had them all written down on of the ones I still needed, and it eventually got to where you had I didn't want the running backs. There was one card from the quarterback collection. The Denard Robinson like throwback that was like impossible to find. It only came out like early on in the game. And I clicked quarterback, but it's opening running back. That's weird. Anyway, there was a Denard Robinson that you had to get for one of the collections. I ended up like posting on the EA message boards back then because there wasn't really Twitter or emails or anything. And I'll see if I can find him here. And what I ended up doing was like, I just called like their customer support. I'm like, man, this card isn't there. Like it doesn't show up. It was out early in the game. You can't find it anymore. And I spoke to the nicest person ever who eventually just ended up like putting that card in my collection. It was this one right here. It's 85 Denard Robinson. You can see I actually have two of them. I got this one in 2014 and then I ended up finding another one. Another guy was using it and I just traded him like a really good card that I had, like a Charles Woodson or something like that, just to get this one because it was impossible to find and it just wasn't released in packs anymore. You can see I never even used it. 25 games still on the contract. But I had this, like so many guys in my collection. I ran out of room. I had to put some on one of my buddies, like sell my cards to him. He had to buy my cards off of the auction house, like late at night when no one else was on there, just to transfer them. Just an absolutely iconic game. And I'm so bummed that we haven't been able to enjoy this for the last 10 years. So I'm super pumped for the Online Dynasty. Already got some ideas with some buddies and just absolutely amazing memories on here. So one more time, if you're excited about NCAA football, you maybe are already playing it. I haven't actually played it yet just because I've been waiting for the physical disc. And I know that makes me old school and it makes me not maybe as able to play as the people who are playing it right now. And just look at these absolute, like when you got all these guys, this Bo Jackson was an absolute monster. When you eventually got your team so good, like you had two Randy Mosses in the lineup. Vince Young was like the in-game card there at quarterback. That's what you got for finishing all the collections. Ray Lewis was just a beast in the middle of your defense. And then really what made your team was the cornerbacks, just because so many people were able to throw. There's that Charles Woodson Heisman winner that was tough to get. You had to finish the Heisman collection. Ed Reed, 99, was a monster. It was just an amazing, amazing game with so many memories. So I'm so glad that it is back. I'm very excited. Always played in the Kibby Dome. I don't actually think it's in the game this year. Wisconsin playbook, I didn't really even use that. When I don't want to update my depth chart. I got to a point where I just practiced different playbooks. So if you're excited for NCAA 25, let me know. I'm down here in the basement. The air conditioner just kicked on. Sorry about that in the background. But man, I'm fired up and I hope you are too. See ya.